Hello, everybody. Welcome to the GM Sports Report, your weekly podcast on all things sports, where every play counts. I'm Grant, and I'm here with my co-host Mason as we get ready to cover the latest news, headlines, and upcoming events going on in the sports world. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to see all things GM Sports Report. Mason, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Grant. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. A lot of topics we're going to jump into here, so I'm excited to talk about it. So, with that being said, we'll start out with our hot takes of the week, like we do every week. So, I'll let you go ahead.
All right, so my hot take this week might be a little controversial, but I think that the Eastern side of the playoffs could potentially be just as good, if not better, than the Western side of the playoffs in this year's NBA Finals or whatever. So I think that the later seeds, the lower seeds in the Eastern Conference, can kind of make up for the more entertaining side of it, because the higher seeds, it's probably going to be Cavs and Celtics, ECF, but the Western side is also going to be pretty entertaining as well, because you got teams like the Rockets and Grizzlies who could really sneak into a higher, make it far in the playoffs. So I think it'll be really entertaining, and I'm excited to see how it goes.
Yeah, I sort of agree with that hot take. I think both sides are going to be very entertaining this season. I just think
Hmm.
when you think of the East, you kind of think of three teams right now that are going to come out. It's going to be
Yeah.
either the Celtics, the Cavs, or the Knicks. Like those are like the really big three teams. Where you look over to the West, there's a lot of teams right now that I could see coming out of the West. Like it's a lot more question marks, if that makes any sense. Like I don't know what the Houston
Really?
Rockets are going to be like. I don't know what the Grizzlies are going to be like. The Lakers are looking like a real threat right now. The Nuggets are always going to be there. Obviously, you got the Thunder. So it's like a lot more question marks when you look at the Western
Yeah.
Conference side. But I do see what you're saying, because I do think everyone is just like saying how the East is very weak this year. I don't think that's the case
Yeah.
necessarily. I just think the teams that are really good in the East are there's a bigger margin between the gap, as on the West side it's a lot more close. But yeah, I sort of agree
Right.
with that hot take. All right, my hot take of the week has to do with the New York Giants. By the end of the NFL offseason, Aaron Rodgers will be in a New York Giants uniform. Um, we're going to talk about a player that I was fully expecting you guys to get that ended up re signing with his team. But after that, it kind of shows me that the Giants are kind of looking for like a maybe 1 to 2 season, fill in right now. Really just a 1 season. I think they really want to get their hands on Arch Manning, if I'm being honest. And Aaron Rodgers really looks like he could be that guy, in my opinion. Just go out there for 1 season, maybe his final season, and can retire off in the sunset after that. But I don't know. It just makes a lot of sense to me for Aaron Rodgers to go to the Giants. I'd be interested to hear your opinion on that. That's my hot take of the week.
Yeah. So I won't say I disagree. I think that the likelihood of that happening, is increasing each day at a time. As painful as it looks to see him coming straight out of the Jets, you still can't deny that he is a Hall of Fame quarterback. But at this point in his career, it's whether or not he still has that skill. Jets gonna make anyone look pretty bad. So it's really kind of like a mask to see whether or not that's truly who they are, or just the Jets doing what they do. So I think it'll be really interesting. I'm not gonna hate it. I hope we get somebody in the draft, but I'm really just putting all my trust in to see who we get. So yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. It'll be interesting to see how this shapes out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just want to get a little football take out there. So. All right, now we're going to slide to underdogs of the week. This is something we do every week as well, and I'll let you go ahead and take it away.
The former New York Knick, Quentin Grimes.
That's a
44
good one.
points, 6 rebounds, and he was 6 for 9 from three to beat Golden State Warriors. I think this was an outing that absolutely no one expected to happen. Everyone was kind of banking on Grimes back in Dallas, but then he gets traded, obviously, and puts up a performance like this. It's questioning to see if he can actually be a go-to guy, or if it was just a kind of the spur of the moment type thing. So I think it was awesome to see. I hate the Sixers, but this was cool.
Yeah, I think that's a great pick. I was actually watching that game because it was the nationally televised game that night, and I was like, oh, Warriors will run through them. I mean, Jimmy Butler was out that game, but I'm like, still, like, Warriors should
Yeah,
be able to run through them. And Quentin Grimes had himself a ball game. And I remember saying before the game, I was
yeah, it
like,
is.
imagine getting beat by Quentin Grimes. I think I said it to my brother or something, and he actually did beat them. So it was kind of funny. Um, but yeah, that's a good pick. My underdog of the week is gonna go. I'm gonna go with DeAndre Hunter on the Cavaliers. Since he got traded over to the Cavs, they are 8-0. I think this is one of the most, if not the most, underrated trade that happened at the trade deadline. DeAndre Hunter is a very good two-way player. He's a guaranteed 15 to 20 points every single night. He's getting more and more comfortable with this dominant Cavs team, and being 8-0 since trading for him, that's a really good sign. And in his latest game, he had 32 points and 7 rebounds. So it's looking like a very good trade for the Cavaliers. A lot of people were questioning it. I wasn't really questioning it. I thought it was a great trade, and I do think it's one of the most underrated trades that happened. So my underdog of the week is DeAndre Hunter.
Nice.
All right, now we're gonna go slide over to the NBA news, and we're gonna start with our player of the week. So Mason, I'll let you go ahead with your player of the week.
I got to give a little love to my team, which we've been throwing shade on for the past week. So I got to give it to Jalen Brunson, Eastern Conference Player of the Week. 29.3 points per game, 5 rebounds per game, 6.3 assists per game. Coming off that great Heat win that I wish we went to, but someone didn't want to spend money on it. So yeah, shout out
Sorry.
Jalen.
Yep, 29 points on 20 free throw attempts.
Oh,
All right,
God.
my player of the week is all jokes aside, my player of the week is actually a little upsetting because about 30 minutes before recording, we saw that this player has suffered an ACL
Mhm.
tear and will miss the rest of the season. And that is going to be Kyrie Irving. In his last 7 games, he's looked really good, averaging 27 and a half points per game, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Um, Look, I love Kyrie. He's easily in my top 5 players like that I enjoy watching. I don't think we'll ever see a better ball handler and a better shot creator than Kyrie Irving. This man has more counters than anyone I've ever seen. It's insane what's in his bag and in his repertoire. Um, so yeah, it's devastating to see him go out with that ACL injury. And last night's game, it was awful. You could tell right away he knew that it was something very serious. And then he got helped over to the free throw line, shooting the free throws, and you could see the tears in his eyes, the tears running down his face. Like it was just a devastating thing to see. He's had some pretty bad injuries in the past, so I'm really hoping this isn't the beginning of the end, but you never know. And yeah, it's awful to see. So, Mason, I wanted to get your thoughts on the injury and what you're thinking right now.
Yeah, I mean, you sent me just a clip of like the aftermath of the injury, so I didn't really get to see a good look of what happened. But I think the Luca curse is real. I think it's just the start of it. Seeing what these Mavs and especially what Kyrie's been going through for the past month and a half of just everything that's been going on, and then for this to happen, you don't wish this on anybody, especially a guy like Kyrie who's been nothing but just an upstanding guy and just comes up, plays basketball to the best he can, and then goes through something like this. You see his knee kind of buckle after getting, a little bit of contact on the inside, and just you could tell it was bad right away. I was hoping it was just a little hyperextension, but yeah, so it's just unfortunate.
Yeah, probably one of the last players you want to see go down with that kind of an injury.
Yeah.
Like I said, like you could just tell it was really bad right away, and he knew right away, and that's never good. And hopefully he can
Yeah.
recover and bounce back, but he is a little bit older now, so you never really know. But hoping for the best. And yeah, I did want to get into the second part of the more not lighthearted, but just the more other side of it. Do you think that the Luca curse is going to be a real thing here for the next few
Absolutely. Oh
years?
my gosh, absolutely. Like there's no way. The day or the night of when Luca got traded, I don't think I've ever seen a fan base, turn on their own team as much as Dallas has. And the
Hmm.
fact that they were outside of, the arena with, like literally a casket. Like who brings a
Yeah,
casket to the arena? And just that just shows how insane of a deal that was. And I think Mavs fans are going to
yeah.
be in for a rough ride after that.
I mean, look, Anthony Davis was hurt in his first game in a Mavericks jersey. Now, obviously, Kyrie Irving out the rest of the season, and players like PJ Washington have been dealing with injuries since the trade happened. It's definitely looking like the
Hmm.
odds are not in their favor, that's for sure. So, Luka curse might be real for the next however many years. But
Yeah.
all jokes aside, do hope Kyrie has a speedy and good recovery.
Hmm.
And yeah, I just wanted to touch on that because that's some pretty big news that broke a few minutes ago. So yeah.
Yep.
All right. Now we're gonna slide over to our team of the week. So Mason, I'll let you go ahead. Who's your team of the week?
It's a team who's been in this conversation pretty much the whole season. Cleveland Cavaliers, last 10-0. Just they've just been looking dominant, and I think they're one of the only three teams to ever have like a couple 10 win streaks in in a season or something.
Hmm.
It's just insane. They're having a historic year, and I'm really interested to see how they finish it out.
Yeah, I also picked the Cavs 10-0 in their last 10, like you said. Um, I was saying like the past couple months, I kept saying like I don't know if this team's like a legit team come playoff time.
Yeah,
I fully take back that statement. I think that
I'm
they
thinking the
should be the
same
favorites
thing.
in the East. It's been long enough now to that they've shown that
Yeah.
they are the best team in the league, in my opinion. So yeah, they deserve every ounce of hype that they're getting right now. And I take back everything I said because I thought by now they would have gone through a rough patch, and they
Yep.
just haven't. They have not gone through a rough patch. So this team is really good. The chemistry is there. So yeah, I had to go with the Cleveland Cavaliers as well.
I think if they were to fall off, they would have done it already, and we just have not seen
100%.
any ounce of them slowing down. So I
Yeah.
I agree with all the hype.
Yeah, me too. I take back everything I said. I was wrong. I can admit that.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, all right, now the next thing in the NBA is a headline that I thought was pretty interesting. Shams and Windhorse last week pretty much made it sound like it's a guarantee that Kevin Durant's going to be traded this summer. And Shams basically reporting that the Suns will work with KD to send him wherever he wants to go. So that gets my mind going a little bit. Just thinking about the possible teams that can be players for KD next season. So Mason, I just wanted to know what are some team? Do you have a team or some teams that you think he'd fit on best? I just wanted to get your quick opinion on that.
Yeah, so I have three places that I think I could kind of see him going. I'm just gonna go without the whole finding trade packages thing and just seeing places that I could see him fit.
Right.
Um, I could see him reunite with OKC and that young core. Maybe just get that little vet presence with that such a young team. And if he ends up going back there, that would be very dangerous in my opinion. We were kind of talking about it a little bit. I think that Miami needs a star, and if they were able to make that work, what were they've blown what 15 games of 15 point or more lead, and if they just won seven of them, you said they would be in a position to make the playoffs or
Maybe like
just be in a
the
better
fourth
spot.
seed right now. Yeah.
Right, right. So if they had a guy and they didn't go through all that Jimmy Butler stuff, I think they'd be in a much better position. So yeah, and then another place which I thought was kind of a pretty good sleeper spot is Memphis. Pairing
Mm.
him and John Morant, I think that would just be another force offensively that they can get even more productive of a team, and it'd be very interesting to see.
Yeah, that Memphis is one of the ones that was on my honorable mentions. That'd be
Yeah,
interesting to see. I got three kind of really realistic teams, and then one kind of like a just like it's not super realistic, but I think it would be super fun to see. So I'll start with the three realistic ones. I think the Heat, at least as a Heat fan, the Heat better be in on making a trade for Kevin Durant. Look, Pat Riley's
yeah,
legacy is on the line here. And they've had all these excuses the past few years saying they had no assets and they were handcuffed, and that's why they couldn't land a superstar. Look, if KD becomes available this summer, we all know KD has had Miami on his list for years now. Every time he's been a free agent or every time he's been in trade talks, the Heat have been in his interests. So they're going to be on his list of preferred destinations. So there's no excuses now. We have assets, we have expiring contracts, we have first round picks, we have like we have all the assets we need to land a superstar. So now there's no excuses. The Heat better be in the mix for KD if a trade becomes available for him. So that's my first team. Second team, I think this is a team that really matches his timeline, and that's the Dallas Mavericks. I think Kyrie and Anthony Davis match his timeline perfectly. They're all older players reaching the last part of their
Hmm.
career, and they're going to be looking to win one more championship. And I could see that big three forming and run, kind of giving it like a last shot kind of run for a championship. So I could see the Mavericks coming in play. My third team, which I find very interesting, is the Houston Rockets. They're a great young team right now. They've been in like the top 5 of the West all season long. They've looked very good. And I think if you add a veteran like Kevin Durant to that group of young guys, that could really elevate you to a different level and truly make you a contender. So I'd be interested to see if they'll be interested this summer. And now this is kind of my team that I think is a launch shot, but I wouldn't mind seeing it at all. I think it'd be very fun. And it's what you said, the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think it would be very
Yeah.
interesting to see him finish where he started, go play with that group of young guys, and instantly become favorites for a title if he gets
Yeah.
traded there. We all know OKC has the assets. They have all those first round picks. They have tradable contracts, so they can easily make it happen. I'd be very interested to see if Kevin Durant wants to have a reunion with the Thunder, and if he, finishes where he started. I think that'd make a great storyline. So, yeah, that's my launch shot team, but I would be very interested to see if that is how it plays out.
Yeah.
Still very early, obviously. Still got a little
Yeah.
bit of
Yeah.
season left in postseason, so I'm sure this will be something we're not just talking about right now and won't talk about it again. I'm sure we're going to be talking about this a lot. But yeah, just wanted to get our early predictions. All right. Now, the final thing for the NBA. We are coming towards playoff time. And, playoff time is when players have a lot of expectations and a lot of, predictions. So I wanted to do a 5-1 list, both of us. I saw this on ESPN. Stephen A. Smith did it on First Take. I thought it was a good idea. Just a 5-1 list of players who have the most to prove this year in the playoffs. So Mason, I'll let you go ahead and start. Give your 5-1 list. And yeah.
So yeah, I'll kind of go more off of expectations, just because I don't know what everyone has or what doesn't they don't have to prove. So I'll go start with first number 5. I'll go Jokic and the Nuggets, because right now the whole West side is being talked with OKC and Lakers coming up. So we'll see if Jokic can kind of get the Nuggets back where they should be. They're not too far off from their last title win. So we'll see if they can kind of get back to where they can be. Number 4, I think, is going to be very interesting, and that's Giannis and the Bucks. They're fourth in the
Mm.
East currently, and it'll be very important point in its time to see where he ends up. Say if they make it far in the playoffs, if he'll want to stay, or if it all just starts crumbling down and they don't work out. I think that'll be also interesting to see if he ends up going somewhere. Number 3 is SGA. I'd love to see him make it, I guess, far in the playoffs. Lost to Mavs last year in the second round. Clearly the best Thunder team we've seen in the past few years, and I would love to see if he can make it to the West Conference Finals. 2 and 1 are kind of along the same line. So 2, I'll go Brunson. Can't make it past the second round. Off the past 2 years, we made it to the second round twice. Almost came out against that Pacers team, but the injuries just, kind of screwed everything over. So I'd love to see him really just take control and get to where all the hype is, expecting them to be, if that makes sense. But again, as we talked about, it is a pretty stacked 1 and 2 in the East right now. So they are currently the underdogs for Eastern Conference Finals. And number 1, I'd say is a favorite, but again has had some pretty big losses in playoffs, and that's Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs. Um, as we've been saying, this is probably the best Cleveland team we've seen in a very long time. Lost in the first round 2 years ago to the Knicks, and then lost in the second round last year to the Celtics. We'll see if they can make it to again where they're supposed to be, but I think that they can really make it to the finals with everything how it looks on paper. But if it comes down to them and the Celtics, I think it'll be very interesting to see. So, yeah, that's my 5-1.
Yeah, I think that's a very good list. I agree with all of those. And I think you provided really good reasoning behind it. So, Yeah, I agree. My number 5, I'm going with Jimmy Butler. Look, he left Miami, and let's face it, Miami was a playoff team this season with him on that team. So it's not like he was just leaving some like tanking team to go to some contender. So there's a lot of pressure on him. He's looked at as a locker room cancer for most of the league. Looks at him that way. So he's got a lot to prove. He's got to have playoff Jimmy show up again. And
Yep.
yeah, him and Curry, I expect them to go far. And if they don't, it's going to look like a pretty big failure on the Warriors and for paying him all that money and just for it to not show any success. So yeah, Jimmy Butler is on my list at number 5. Number 4, I have Carl Anthony Towns. He's looked great in this regular season. I can't remember exactly what he's averaging. I know it's over like 25 points and 10 rebounds, so it's a
Yeah.
very good season. Um, but when you look at his history in the playoffs, he is known to take a step back. He averages 18 points and 10 rebounds in the playoffs. That's a pretty big drop off in the scoring. And he has a 13 and 19 record in the playoffs. So he has a losing record in the playoffs.
Mm.
And everyone knows his defensive struggles, and that's going to be a big thing come playoff time. They're going to have to figure out
Yep.
a counter to that. And he needs to score at an efficient rate for this Knicks team. So as good as a regular season as he's having, he needs to continue in the playoffs in my eyes. So Karl Anthony Towns, I think he has a lot to prove. So he's number 4 on my list. Number 3 on my list, I have Anthony Edwards. I think the Timberwolves are a good team that can make some noise come playoff time, but he has a lot to show. Obviously, we know Anthony Edwards talks a lot, and he wants to be looked at as a face of the league, which I think he should be looked at as a face of the league. But if you want to be looked at as a face of the league, you got to have some playoff wins under your belt, and he has gone far in the playoffs before, and yeah, I just think there's a lot of expectations for him this upcoming playoff run. So yeah, I got Anthony Edwards at my 3 spot. Number 2, I put Shea. I think SGA has a lot to prove come playoff time.
Mm-hmm.
I think he is in the top 3 for MVP right now, and I think he should be. But they're the easily the best team in the West, and I don't think that they shouldn't be anywhere less than the Western Conference Finals. I think if they don't make it there, then it was a failure of a season.
Yep.
So I think SGA has a
Absolutely.
lot to prove. And number 1, I have the same exact guy you did at number 1. I think it's Donovan Mitchell. Look, we cut them some slack the last couple of seasons because they're like a
Yep.
middle of the East team. We were just saying like they're a good young team, but they're not quite there yet. We had the whole Jared Allen, the lights were too bright thing when they lost that one year. We kind of cut them some slack. But now I just said a few minutes ago they deserve all the hype. I think they're the best team in the league, so I expect them to
Yep.
go out there and continue that come playoff time. And if they don't, I think that's a huge letdown, especially the Cavs fans. So yeah, Donovan Mitchell is easily number 1 on the list for me, as he was for you. So glad we agreed there. So yeah, that's my list.
I honestly think that if the Cavs don't make it to at least the ECF, then it's just a complete, you know, I wouldn't say
Yeah,
waste of a season, but the
I
potential of
would.
what it could have been. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd agree. Just I don't know, saying waste of a season, it'll be interesting. Having this big of a season and to not make it that far, it'd definitely be a letdown. So
yeah.
yeah,
All right. Well, I think we both had some good points on that list, so I thought that was a little fun thing we can do. Like I said, I saw
yep,
it on ESPN, so thought we should try it. All right, now we're gonna slide over to the NFL because there has been some news going on in the offseason so far. We'll start with Matthew Stafford being re-signed by the Rams. Mason, just quick thoughts on that.
yeah. I mean, as you kind of mentioned earlier, I really thought we were gonna, get him. Uh, I guess Giants gave him a pretty good price, and at the last second, he kind of backed out of it, which is understandable. He's loving the Rams right now. Obviously, won a
Hmm.
Super Bowl with them, and yeah, I think it's great for the whole LA organization, and good for him. So yeah,
Yeah. Um, I was not expecting him to re-sign with the Rams, but
yeah,
yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, if that affects any of the Cooper Cup things that are going around right now. How they move from here on
yeah,
out, we'll see. Um, but yeah, Matthew Stafford re-signed by the Rams. I wasn't expecting it, but good for them. Um,
yep,
all right, next thing we have is Debo Samuel being traded to the Washington Commanders. Mason, you got thoughts on that real quick?
yeah. I mean, obviously he's had his struggles for what the past season, maybe season or two, but for being traded for a fifth round pick is some absolutely diabolical work.
Mhm.
He's not a horrible receiver. I think he can, be a pretty good role receiver, a good wide receiver too on Washington. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting. They pretty much gave him away for nothing. So yeah, we'll see how he comes out. Maybe lose a little weight.
Yeah. Um, I think that this is an interesting trade. Obviously, when you're only trading a fifth round pick, it's like you're not really losing this trade if you're the Commanders. But I don't know if Debo Samuel will be as big as an addition as a lot of people think he might be. He looked pretty bad last season. I had him in fantasy, and he was absolutely terrible for me. And it looks like he's out of shape. So hopefully he gets back in shape for his new team. And it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I think it's a very low risk, high reward trade for the Commanders. Go and get that
Yeah,
second target for Jaden
absolutely.
Daniels. So, it could really work out, but I just don't know if it's going to be as big as an impact as a lot of people are assuming it will be. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yep. Yep.
The third point that is going around is that T. Higgins was franchise tagged for the second straight year. Mason, I want to get your thoughts on that.
Now is absolutely annoying in my opinion. It'd just be held on a leash, like literally just being dangled by a franchise
Hmm.
tag. Just can't get that huge contract. Sure, he's making 20-25 million a year on the contract, but like, man, like I just feel horrible not knowing where I'm gonna go next, because say he does
Hmm.
have a low year, and then
Yeah.
he just has nowhere, like, no idea what's gonna happen. So I know last year Giants were looking at him pretty heavily. We knew that wide receiver. We ended up getting Neighbors, obviously, but just seeing him, just it feels like he's stuck, and
Yeah.
I'm sure that's frustrating, just not able to get that contract he wants, or getting traded. So yeah.
Yeah. I pretty much agree. I think you hit the nail on the head. It kind of just seems like a weird situation there. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But I'm also shocked that they franchise tagged him for a second straight year.
It's insane.
Last headline we have this I found a little bit shocking. Darius Slay was released by the Philadelphia Eagles. What are your thoughts on that?
I kind of saw it coming. He did struggle a pretty good amount at the beginning of this year. Ended it pretty well, obviously with the Super Bowl. But I don't know if you remember that Falcons game. He ended up getting cooked by Drake London.
Yeah,
That was pretty
yeah,
funny. But yeah. So I don't think he's got that man to man kind of defense that the Eagles are looking for. He's kind of more of a zone kind of run stopper kind of corner. So. We'll see. We'll see where he ends up. I think it'll be interesting. It'll definitely be a good addition to wherever he goes. But yeah.
yeah. I know he's not as good as he once was, but I still think he's a pretty
Hmm.
solid corner.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting him really to be released, but hey, I guess whoever gets him, like you said, will have an upgrade at the corner position. I know a team that
Hmm.
could use a second corner over in Miami to pair up with Jalen Ramsey.
Heck
So
no.
if they want to take a look at him, I wouldn't mind. So yeah, those are kind of the headlines surfacing around the NFL. We got a little bit of news in the NFL world in the early stages of the offseason, so I figured we'd talk about them. Now we're gonna slide over to the UFC this weekend. Terrible card. We have UFC 313. It's Pereira versus I don't even know how to pronounce his name. I've never watched him, to be completely honest. If you want to take a stab at it, Mason, I'll let you go ahead for the name.
Magomed Ankalev, I think.
Okay, nice.
Magomed Ankalev.
I was really looking forward to the co-main, which was going to be Justin Gaethje versus Hooker, and now Hooker pulled out of the
Yeah.
fight, so now that fight's not even a good fight anymore. So we're just going to talk about the main event, and yeah, go ahead and give your prediction, Mason.
I think I saw something on Twitter about like Pereira was practicing wrestling or something, and Magomed was like, "Oh yeah, that's what we're gonna be doing for 25 minutes." And it's like, man, come on, no one wants to see that. But I just don't really see Pereira going to the ground like that. Um, I think I'm really interested to see how he defends, takedowns and stuff, because we haven't really seen him fight someone who has just been straight takedown, kind of wrestling
Yeah,
style. So I think Pereira will want to stay on his feet. If he goes to the ground, I think he'll be able to go it up. But again, I'm not sure. And I do and still end up seeing this ending in a KO. unless he's just grappling the whole time. But
Right.
not sure what round, but I think it will happen. So for Pereira, obviously.
Yeah. I also got Pereira winning. I'd be very shocked if he loses this one. I think it will be a knockout, like you said. The only chance the other guy's got a chance is if he wrestles and like wrestles
Yeah,
really well. And I think Pereira's strong enough to get back up after a takedown. So I don't really see it
yeah.
being much of a threat for Pereira. I think he's going to win this one pretty easily. All right.
Yep.
Now it's time to slide over to segment 3, my favorite. Well, it's not my favorite when it's my turn, but
Today's your favorite.
it's my favorite when I get to ask you the questions, and that is our
Okay.
trivia segment. Do you know ball? Go ahead.
Wait a second. So I look at the script last night and I see we usually do 5 questions, but nobody wants to do 6 because I guess he's
Look,
mad at me or something.
no, it's one more
Oh
question,
no.
and now I can make it even to 2 per each team we're fans of.
Oh, but it just happens to be the time when I'm going up. So all good.
Yeah, we got to
Couldn't ruin the
experiment
week.
it.
Yeah,
Look,
yeah.
I still, you're the one that did me dirty that one week, so this is
Dude. All right, whatever.
all right. These questions are not that hard. I think you'll get most of these. I'd expect you to go five for six. I think there's one in here that might stump you.
Okay.
Okay. My question number one, the first two are Knicks related.
Oh
As
boy.
we all know, anyone who's active on NBA TikTok, we have seen the new nickname era going on in the NBA. All these players are getting these new nicknames. We have
Oh,
Brandon
this
Pajemski known as the Pythagorean
crazy.
theorem. We have Evan Mobley as like the
Wow.
predicament or something like that. Bam Adebayo is now the onomatopoeia. We have all these crazy NBA nicknames surfacing around on NBA TikTok. So my question for you, Mason, is what is Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart's new nicknames from the new NBA TikTok era?
Oh man, isn't Brunson like the context
Mm, it's
or
close.
like the concept? Hold on.
You're getting
It's
around
like
it.
I know it's
It
like
starts with
cost
a C.
something.
It starts with a
Oh
C.
man. Oh, I had it. Like I just saw it the other day. Hearts, I have no idea. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know Hearts.
Really?
Um, I don't. I saw it one time. I saw a video on it one time. Uh, it's not the complex, right? I said that.
No, it's not that.
Dang, dude. I don't know. This is crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
All right. So Jalen Brunson's new nickname is the Climax,
Climax.
and
Oh, that's what it was.
Josh Hart's is now the Enigma. Is his new nickname. Just a very random. But look, we've seen Brandon Pajemski get the Pythagorean theorem. We saw someone get called standard deviation. So there's a lot of odd ones running around here. But yeah, I just had to throw that question in there because I'm absolutely loving
Great.
these new nicknames that are going around.
Oh, for one, the
Um,
start is great.
all right, that was the first question. The second question is simple. A little bounce back for the TikTok one. When was the last time the Knicks made the Eastern Conference Finals?
Oh boy. Was it? I don't know. Is it 12?
Mm-mm.
Higher, like recent or later?
Lower than 2012.
Lower. Oh man. Oh 09?
Mm-mm. I'll give you one more
I don't
guess.
know, man.
Okay.
Uh, higher or lower than oh 05?
Mm, mm, mm.
All right, then oh
Got one more
06.
guess.
Oh
No, it's
06.
not '06. The last time
Dang.
the New York Knicks made the Eastern Conference Finals was in the year 2000, and it was against the Indiana
Dang.
Pacers. They went on to lose that series. Seems like they always lose to the Pacers.
Oh
But
man, they were talking about the whole time last season.
yeah, that's why I figured you would have
That
known
was
it,
the
but that's
Reggie
all right.
Miller, or was that before? That was before Reggie Miller, wasn't it?
It was around that time. I don't know off the top of my head. But yeah,
Dang
it
it.
was the year 2000. They played in back to back years, 1999
Oh
and
and
2000.
2. Oh and
Hey,
2.
it's all right. You can make it up for it. I think you should get these next few. Oh, wait. Actually, I don't think you're going to get this
Oh,
one. This is the one I
great.
thought you were going to get stumped
Oh,
on. I thought you were going to get the other two, to be fair. This one's a little tricky. I'm not going to lie. What was the original name and location of the New York Yankees franchise during its first two seasons in 1901 and 1902?
Brooklyn. It was Brooklyn something, right?
Is that your final answer?
Yes. Okay. No, hold on. Brooklyn. No, because wasn't it the Brooklyn Giants at first? No, that was the San Francisco Giants.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot, it was something with a B.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Darn it! I saw the logo on like some like art or something, but I don't know if B was okay. So New
I'll give you
York
a hint. They are a current
Blues.
team in the MLB right now.
Crap. B. And it's still the same name
Still the same name.
as the B.
Mm-hmm.
What?
The team name
Brewers.
doesn't start with a B. The location starts with the B.
Oh, okay. So Brooklyn Giants. I don't know.
No, it
I
is
know it's wrong.
actually the Baltimore Orioles was what the New York Yankees were for the first 2 years of their franchise.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the tricky one.
Okay.
I didn't expect
Oh
this
and
to I
3.
think this is
Oh
on
my
me.
god.
I think I might have gone a little too hard
Wow.
here. I
All right, we're even
apologize.
after this. We're even after this day. God.
Okay, this is a very simple. The next two, I 1,000% expect you to get these right. Which Yankee was known as the Iron Horse?
You expect me to get this one?
Yeah, yeah. This is like
Dude,
it's like every baseball fan knows this one. The Iron Horse.
dude, Iron Horse. Is it A-Rod?
No, it's not A-Rod.
It's not Jeter. Dude, dang it, man.
No. Really? I thought you would have known this one. I
Hold on, I'll
apologize. I
get
might
it.
have gone too.
I'll get it.
He's before our time, but still like on the Mount Rushmore of the Yankees for sure.
Oh, Lou Gehrig.
Yep, there you go. Lou Gehrig. Good
Okay.
job.
Okay.
All right. That one made me a
Dang,
little
dude.
nervous that you didn't know that one. I was like, man, maybe I'm going a little too hard here.
I just haven't heard
Okay.
anyone say that. Okay.
Yeah. He's known as the Iron Horse, Lou Gehrig. So
Okay.
good job.
Dang, man.
Question number 5. You only got 2 more. Where and they're Giants questions now, so you should be
I
good
should be
on
able to
these.
get these. I should be
Yeah.
able to get these.
This one I think you should know pretty easily. Where did Lawrence Taylor play in college?
North Carolina.
Yep. Okay, there we go. Little bounce back right there.
Yeah,
And
no, I'm glad
finally,
these were last.
yeah, that's what I see. I saved the best for last. I got you. Finally, who was the starting quarterback from 2000 to 2004 before the Kurt Warner and Eli Manning season, which ultimately led to the
Ah,
Manning run?
shoot. Collins, wasn't it?
It was. Do you remember the first name? Just for extra.
Ah,
You
is
got it
it
right. You
something
got it
with
right. I'll give you credit.
okay. I don't. Is it something with a P? I feel like it's something with a P.
No, it starts with a K.
Okay. Kerry Collins.
Yep, Kerry Collins. Good job. So see, you finished
Wow.
strong. You
Okay.
finished strong, getting 4, 5, and 6 right. Number one,
Dang it,
I thought you
man.
would have known just because like it's like so recent. With the TikTok thing.
Yeah.
Number two, I thought you would have known because they were talking about it a lot during the playoff series last
I
year between the
know. I
two of
just
them.
I took that whole Pacers thing out of my head
Yeah,
just
the
because
Baltimore
it ended
Orioles
bad.
one was tricky though. I'll give you that. That one
That
was
one
hard.
was tricky because I saw a B on one of the jerseys like a while back.
Yeah.
Like I saw
Yeah, I had
some
no idea that they
art.
were the Baltimore Orioles originally. That was pretty shocking to me.
Yeah, that's interesting.
All right. Well, that pretty much wraps up today's episode. So thank you guys for tuning in to this week's episode of the GM Sports Report, where every play counts. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to be able to see our weekly episodes on all things sports. For additional content, check the description to see links to our Instagram and TikTok account. This is Grant and Mason signing off for now. Have a great week, everybody.
Thank you, guys.